Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Thank you very much for joining me today. I want to take your calls. 205-850-1994 is the call-in line number. Here are the topics today. Alabama's defense versus LSU's offense. I want to get your take on Alabama's electric defense stopping LSU's high-potent offense. Are you happy with Tommy Rees? Honestly, through 8 games played, what is your take on the 31-year-old offensive coordinator for the University of Alabama? And has he been an upgrade from Bill O'Brien? Michigan sign stealing. Big deal. Not that big of a deal. I've been listening all morning on different takes, and I want to get your observation on that because I think it happens more than you know. But I mean, I've seen some stuff on social media to where literally Michigan knew the exact play that was happening. So want to get your take on that. That's question number 3. Number 4, I want to get your second half bold prediction when we look to Alabama and kind of the remaining part of the season. And then number 5, I want your college football top 4 for today. Give me a Roll Tide inside the comment box. I appreciate you guys being here with me this morning. Remember, all this week I am on live at 9 a.m. and I appreciate you guys joining me. Hit the thumbs up if you guys could. It really helps the video, and super chats certainly welcome. Today's goal is $100, and then if you want to become a fan funder, just hit the join button at the bottom of any video. With that said, we go right to the phone lines and we start with the 470. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? It's Chance from Henderson, Georgia.
Hey, what's up, buddy? I appreciate you calling in, man. Chance, welcome to the show, man. Good morning to you, and take it away, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get used to, like I was up last night, and I didn't quite catch on yet that you were doing this in the morning. So, like, last night I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to get to call him. But it's cool.
Yeah, I've been kind of messing around with kind of the morning take and seeing kind of the feedback that I would get during the morning, because I already, I explained to people this week that, the morning looks like it could be an open window for me to have a morning show. And I'm going to get busy later on today. But I mean, all this week, I think I'm going to try for 9 a.m. So do you want to dive right into it 1 through 5, or do you have something kind of like an opening monologue that you want to start the show with?
Well, I got a monologue that I want to kind of throw out there. And I've been kind of guilty of this too. So, but I've had a few days to reflect. And, I mean, I've listened to the past couple of days, a couple of callers calling in. And, like, what's wrong with everybody? Everybody's acting like that we might as well not even show up to this game with LSU, that, they're just too good. There ain't no reason for us to show up. I mean, how are we going to beat Jay Daniels? Man, screw that noise. To hell with LSU. I don't think for a second that we can't beat them. I know that we can. But it's just crazy how everybody's just kind of wrote us off, even our own fan base, where we're just like, well, like our defense is good, but we're not that good. We're just not consistent enough. I mean, I don't know about that, man. I mean, I think this past weekend, that game with Tennessee, it kind of just solidified it for me. Like, I've nicknamed them the comeback squad because that's what they are. Yeah. Like, I mean, and that's fine by me. And if that don't earn style points to be down 13-0 and then come back the second half and shut them down 27-0, I mean, that's a pretty badass style points in my mind. But, I'm not part of the CFP rankings or whatever. So, I mean, I'm just whatever. But, I mean, I know that they listen to this, our players. I mean, that's just where we are. So, at some point, they hear this stuff. And I think that if we start giving them more than just, what they don't do right, what they should have done right. I mean, Milroe looked good, man. Like, those couple passes, or like his whole passing, even the announcer was talking about it like they were on a line, bro, like missiles all the way to where they needed to get to. And they were clean and crisp. Like, I mean, they were on a line straight to where they needed to get to. And, you know, like, you pulled up that chart yesterday. I'm kind of rambling a little bit because I'm trying to pull it all together to be able to say it, you know. But, like, you pulled up that chart the other day, yesterday for that one caller that was just trying to, you know, bash Milroe and all that. And, I mean, he's what, third or fourth on that chart behind Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and all them?
Yeah, he's sixth.
Something like
sixth.
that.
Yeah, sixth.
All right. Well, and that's coming from all those people ahead of him are like 5th and 6th year seniors.
Yep.
You know, like he's only got like this is only his first career start.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, like the Tim's, he ain't throwing it near as much, and he's still right behind them with his QBR. So, I mean, I saw you trying to debunk that dude the best, you know, like with facts, but they don't care about that because it's all about what they didn't do, what they should have done, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, I just wanted to get that out the way. Like, I've been sitting on that for a couple of days. I was just shocked at how our fan base is just, I mean, like, we used to not be that way, man.
I think with the quarterback position, I mean, it's such a, it's a polarizing topic because, you know, the transformation of the quarterback play from Bryce to Jalen is different. And you have a quarterback who we're seeing grow every single week, and we're micromanaging every single throw that he does. We're looking at every single statistic.
Right.
You know, and I think with that said, we have a different offensive coordinator as well. And that's kind of why I wanted to ask about Tommy Rees and get people's thoughts on Tommy Rees and how he's been able to utilize Jalen and the running backs and some of these wide receivers. And I think the biggest takeaway for me when you're looking at Jalen Milroe is the growth. I don't necessarily the stats are what the stats are. Like those are facts. But like what are we seeing with our eyes weekly? And I think we're seeing growth. I mean, is this quarterback better than the week one Jalen Milroe? 100%. So and clearly he is the guy to lead this team. I think he has a lot of abilities that he hasn't even shown yet. I think he's still young in his game to where he can be able to run if he needs to. And I was watching, there was a good clip on ESPN where he's literally breaking down film and you can see him moving his eyes, reading the progression, and then making the throw.
Right.
It's going to come.
With Roman Harper.
Yeah. Did you see that as well? Yeah, I watched that as well. It was a good video.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I loved it.
Me too. I just watched it.
I was trying to find the whole thing because
it was good. So
all I found was like just the clip of like 2 plays.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to watch what Chance and I are talking about, go to the ESPN YouTube channel, and it's Watching Film with Jalen Milroe. And Roman Harper points out basically the fact that the offensive line gives him a good pocket. He steps up into the pocket. He looks one progression, and then his second progression, it opens up, and there's a box, and he's able to throw a very accurate pass in there. So we're seeing him continue to impress weekly. It's not these huge strides, but they are steps forward. And the biggest thing for me, too, when thinking about Jalen Milroe is he hasn't forced bad balls. Like against Texas, and, man, that was a monumental game. I get it. Those 2 passes that he threw, like the 2 interceptions, those were terrible. Those are on him 100%. And they ultimately impacted the game to where Alabama lost the game. So that has kind of been weighed on him. And, other than that, you look at the interception that he threw against Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss did some good job coverage-wise, and that was, again, on him. This last interception wasn't necessarily on him. So the growth has been going on. But let's jump to these 5 questions if you want to, Chad. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. Just one more thing about that Roman Harper and Milroe deal was that he's getting where he's getting vision downfield. Like he's taking from what he does in practice, and he's applying it to the game. With he knows that his safety, he's staring that safety down with his eyes, but his eyes are not really at the safety. But he makes the safety think that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's learning these little tricks that are helping him, with vision downfield. So, yeah, he's doing a great job. Yeah, we can go through the questions. Let's do it.
All right, cool. Okay, so Bama's defense versus LSU's offense. And when you look to LSU's offense, I mean, really electric group. I mean, Jaden Daniels, I just kind of read out the stats to kind of set the stage. 2,500 yards on the season. His longest is 86 yards. He has been sacked 17 times. His overall rating is 204.3. He has an average per throw of 11.5. His key wide receivers are, of course, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. Neighbors has caught for 981 yards. Brian Thomas Jr. has caught for 732 yards. Combined, they have hauled in 20 total touchdowns. Each of those wide receivers is averaging 17.5 per catch, which is a very large average. I think Alabama's Jermaine Burton has a higher average, but that kind of gives you an idea. And then Lacey, who is their third kind of option, he has 308 yards, 19.3 average. So this is a team that comes in with a lot of weapons. Their running back is Logan Diggs. He has 611 yards for 6 touchdowns. This is a team that can move the football. They're very dynamic in that sense. And the reason I pose this question is because I think it comes down to this. Alabama's defense has been fantastic this year. That word elite is kind of, where they have been playing. And the great thing about Alabama is they have an extra week to prepare for LSU, and they are healthy on the defensive side. I posted a YouTube short today. Terrion Arnold back at practice after missing the second half against Tennessee because he wasn't able to pass concussion protocols. Malachi Moore, you saw him back. So it's going to come down to Bama's defense versus LSU's offense. So what's your take regarding that matchup?
I think it all depends on who we match up with well. Malik Neighbors is he's a crisp route runner, but he's also, he's pretty physical. So like if you're playing tight man on man, we need a physical guy there to be there with him. Otherwise he just, you're not going to be able to stop him because he's just that good. He's that physical. I like Trey Amos a little bit more better than I did Terrion. Only for the fact of that one play before Terrion went out, like he had his arms in between the receiver when we played Tennessee, and he still came down with the ball. If your arms between the receiver, it's up to you to have the strength enough to pull that ball away. Now, I don't play college ball. I know that receivers are stout, and I'm not there, but I'm saying that I just felt more like Trey Amos had a little more physicality towards him. You know what I mean? And that's no knock on Terrion. Terrion's got the experience, but so does Trey Amos. But I think that matchup might be a little bit better in my mind. But I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be key is to get our corners and safeties to really lock that side of the field down because, yeah, they run, but we're great against the run. I mean, Trezor Marshall, Jahad Campbell, didn't let that – we didn't miss a beat as far as Tennessee's run game. Yeah. Like, they couldn't do nothing. Jahad wasn't having it. Like, he was not having it.
Yeah, so he's been
so I'm not worried about it.
He's been amazing. And I think also – like we've continued to say when we talk about storylines or keys to the game, is that if Alabama's pass rush can get pressure on Jaden Daniels, look, it's tough with these good quarterbacks because they get the football out so quickly. And, he has been sacked 17 times, but then again, Jalen Milroe has been sacked 30 times this season. So, that does paint another type of picture, right? Dallas Turner, Chris Broswell, interior defensive linemen have been playing at a very high level. And if they can put pressure on him, that can, of course, help the secondary. But I think pass rush is going to be a dominant role. So you look to who are your game breakers, your X factors on the defensive side of the ball. You got to circle Dallas Turner. He has to have, the game of this season. And I was talking to a caller.
And no more dropping Braswell back in the coverage.
Yeah, look.
No more dropping Braswell back in the coverage.
No matter what his top speed is, like we don't want him in coverage, right?
That's that Pete Golden shit. I want to see that. I think that was by accident. I know that Braswell can run 22 miles an hour, and that's fine and all. But you saw that play with Squirrel, like he was looking to the right for Caleb Downs or somebody to be able to be with him, and they wasn't. So it was miscommunication. I'm sure they'll tighten that up. But yeah, none of that. Can't have that.
All right, let's move on.
Bradlow's got to be going after the quarterback every play.
Let's move on to this next topic. You got Tommy Rees. Kind of your thoughts on Tommy. I mean, has it been a step up from Bill O'Brien, or do you feel that it's been a small step forward? Are you happy with the offensive coordinator who's now in his first year with Alabama and going against Brian Kelly, who we used to? I mean, there's some history there for sure.
Well, Brian Kelly wanted him, bro.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly wanted him to come to LSU with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he tried to get him. He didn't know. He didn't take Marcus Freeman with him. He didn't want to take Marcus Freeman with him.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to take Tommy Rees. Now, I don't know how well that always works out. You know what I mean? Like, I think everything works out for a reason. And I don't know why. I never really had that big a problem with Bill O'Brien. Not really, really. When you think about it, he produced a Heisman Trophy quarterback. All right, 2,000-yard receivers with Jameson Williams and John Mechie, an SEC championship, and a playoff run. So, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I don't see all the X's and O's quite as good as everyone else does. But I didn't never really have that big of a beef with him.
It seemed like when
you got
Bill
Bryce Young and you got a one.
It seemed like when Bill O'Brien was here, him and Pete Golding were just the scapegoats for every single thing. Now, we understand now how the defense has transformed under Kevin Steele so quickly.
Right,
but, like, if you had a bad day, it was Pete Golding's fault. If you got stuck in traffic, you're like, damn it, Pete Golding. Construction on McFarland here in Tuscaloosa here, like, damn it, Pete Golding. And then the thing with Bill O'Brien was people just didn't like him from the get-go. Nobody did. Like, as soon as he hired him.
I don't know.
People didn't like him.
Yeah, I did. I never understood that, man. Like I said, his stats speak for it. He produced a Heisman Trophy quarterback, first one out of Alabama. Sarton didn't do that. Nobody else did that. And he took us to a natty. You know what I mean? Yeah. We didn't win it, but we beat the brakes off the best Georgia defense of all time, probably the best defense of all time. So, but back to Tommy. I mean, I think he's dealing the cards he's dealt. You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to. Man, I can't imagine the pressure of being 31 years old, being an offensive coordinator for an elite school like Alabama for Nick Saban. I can't imagine, man. Me at 31 years old, there's no way I could have done that, probably. But it would have been awesome to try. But I think he's doing the best he can, man. I think that. Sure, he could be more, creative in some ways, and I think we're seeing that. I think that we're trying to make that happen, like those little screens to wall and all that. Like that's showing that he's involving. You know what I mean? Like getting routes better for Jalen and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I mean, we've been spoiled to a generational type of quarterbacks with Tua and Bryce and stuff like that. Like Mac was a 3-star recruit, man, 3-star. Yeah. And look what he turned into. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, it takes time. It's not like they just come on and they're just like that. That's rare that they do that. I mean, even Jaden Daniels, he's like a fifth or 6 years. You know what I mean? Yep. So that stuff doesn't happen overnight. So I think Tommy's doing a good job. Yeah, I think he's doing a good job.
Okay, I got another call in line at 936. I'll be with you. Just hang tight. Michigan sign stealing. I mean, Coach Prime came out yesterday, and he said that even if you know in football what's going to happen, you still have to stop them. It's been a huge deal. Michigan, again, is in the limelight for something that, has gone awry. It seems like the NCAA just hates Jim Harbaugh and everything that comes along with him. Is it a big? I
know, right? That's what it's all about. It's the Harbaugh witch hunt.
Oh, they hate him. That's all it is. They hate him. Look, from what I understand,
he's a likable guy. I like Jim Harbaugh.
So you guys have watched the NFL, right? You guys watch it all the time. I do too. What do? Here's what they do. Before they call a play, they go like this. Do you think it's because so they can have better audio? Or do you think it's because there's literally people who can steal signs from, basically their voice calls? I think that sign stealing is something that happens? I mean, look, this would be a great question for Coach Saban. Does sign stealing happen? What are the ramifications of that? How does that impact your weekly, calls? They change them up. Coach Prime said yesterday, people knew Emmitt Smith was going to get the ball. People knew that Jay Novacek was going to get the ball. Michael Irvin, you still have to stop it. I mean, are we making a bigger deal out of this than it should be? What's your take on that?
I think the NCAA is just trying to keep their, I think they're just trying to stay as involved as they can about it. You know what I mean? I don't know why they're going after Michigan. They got Harbaugh and suspended him for 3 games because of a cheeseburger, apparently. He wasn't supposed to buy nothing for a recruit. I don't know how true that is. There may have been, $100,000 check in that cheeseburger for all we know, but I don't know. I don't know. I think, I mean, they've been doing it forever, but all you got to do is look at the film. All you got to do is study the film.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that they got a whole, like, what we see on TV is not the same field they study in the film rooms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole lot more broader and wider. And, I don't know. That just sounds kind of silly to me, but hey, that's
all right.
I got to go after him for something.
Right. Okay. 2 more, real quick. Let's fly through these real quick. All right. So your second half bold prediction for the season. What you got?
I think we went out. I think that LSU is going to be the biggest test, but that's it. I mean, our defense is on fire. We're playing with our hair on fire. I think the only people that can stop us is us right now. That's it. That's it. If we stay out of our own way, we got a clear shot to Atlanta. So, or just winning out. I don't even care if we go to Atlanta. I just want this team to live up to what they're, who they are, and that's it. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Yeah, and I think and if you kind of rewind to the beginning of the season, what were the expectations of this team? To be honest, I mean, was it a national title type team? I get it. We're in Tuscaloosa. The standards are ultra high. We have a microscope on every single thing. But this was a young team. I always say this. SEC media day, there was 1 player from the offensive side on the all SEC media team, and there was 2 on the defensive side. This is not the something that we're used to in Alabama. So we knew this was going to be a young team. With that said, it's not like we're hoping that they would make the SEC championship. I mean, Alabama's almost supposed to be in there, but now that you're starting to look at things, you're like, wow, this team is, I mean, it feels like they're overachieving, if anything. And considering that, they continue to find ways to win, they're overachieving to me. Getting to the beating LSU would be amazing. Getting to the SEC championship game would be remarkable. Beating Georgia would punch your ticket to the playoffs. Making the playoffs and battling with one. If they get into the playoffs, this team is going to be so hot. And if the offense finds themselves, good luck preparing for Jalen Milroe in the playoffs. If they unleash Jalen Milroe and they're just and we continue to see that, man, this team, seriously, they're going to win a lot of games. And I think the only thing that can stop this team, like you said, is themselves, but turnovers. If they can eliminate turnovers and just rely on defense, good field position, that offense is going to put points on the board. Okay, last thing, your college football top 4 as of today.
My college football top 4, ranking?
Yep, right now.
Oh, okay. Well, as bad as I hate to say it, I got Michigan at 1. Probably that's where it gets kind of sketchy because I think Michigan's the only. Yes, I know they haven't played nobody. But there is nobody in the Big Ten but Michigan and Ohio State. And Penn State's always just faking. They ain't for real. I guess I'll go Georgia just because they have that on their side that they have repeated. So, and then I'll go. I'm not sold on Ohio State, but they do got a pretty good defense, so I guess I'll take them at 3. And I guess I'll put Florida State at 4.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know,
Florida
man.
State. Florida State's a tough one. I've already said my stuff on Florida State. All right, man. Well, thanks for leading off the show, man. Call again next time, and I appreciate you rapping with me this morning.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. I'll get used to this whole time change. Or is that something you're doing just this week? Or
I'm just gonna.
Are you gonna start trying to do?
I might do it. I might do it here on forward. Yeah, it's kind of like a test run. I mean, this is the internet. Nothing has to be like set in stone. You know, I am a person of routine, and it does help. I'm a morning person, so it does help. So I'm just gonna. I'm gonna look at things on Saturday when I'm posted up, just chilling. So, hit the subscribe button. Either way, you'll know.
I think you. All right, cool. All right, brother. Well, I'm subscribed for sure. So, yeah. All right, man. It's always good to talk to you, brother.
All right, man. See you, buddy. All right. We got a 936. Get to you in just a minute. Plenty of room to call in this morning. 205-850-1994. What's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Good morning. Remember, all this week I'll be on at 9 a.m. Tonight. I will also have a show. I might move it up because Coach Saban is not speaking tonight because he is just speaking today on the SEC teleconference. So please note that no Coach Saban tonight on at the podium. He will just speak on the SEC teleconference. I will upload that, and you guys will get a chance to hear that as we go into this open week. We're playing You Make the Call today, as we always do. Bama's defense versus LSU's offense. You happy with Tommy Rees? Michigan sign stealing, big deal, not a big deal. Second half bold predictions for the rest of the season. Your college football top four. I want to hear from you today. Call in. I will be on probably till 10:45 today, maybe 10:40 because I got to get ready for Coach Saban's press conference, his teleconference, which will be at 11. With that said, we go back to the phone lines, and we got a 936. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thank you very much for being patient. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Kyle! Good morning. This is Daniel. I'm in Texas, but I'm from Alabama, so I'm a Texas Bama.
Okay, yeah. Love it, man. Welcome to the show, Daniel. Thank you very much for calling in. Where at in Texas specifically?
I'm right north of Houston, and the mood right now is very somber and horrible since, the Astros just got their butts beat. So, yep.
All right. So, what's kind of the temperament of yourself being an Alabama Crimson Tide football fan going into this open week? Kind of set the stage for us before we play You Make the Call.
Sure. And I won't be long because I know that other callers want to get on. So I'll just keep it real short. With my open monologue, I am encouraged by what I see, Kyle. I am very encouraged. I think that everything is improving. The defense has been consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I see improvements around the offensive line. I see improvements in Jalen Milroe, which KJ, the guy from New York, was very critical.
Mm-hmm.
That was hard to listen to and hard to watch. Even though you showed him statistical, factual data, he just wouldn't come off of his opinion, and that's fine. Everybody has their opinion.
Sure.
But I'm encouraged, and that's my open monologue. I'm gonna get straight to these questions, so open up the line for someone else.
Yeah. Okay. So clearly, Bama's defense is playing at such a great level. This is the Bama defense that we're accustomed to. These guys are playing through the roof in every single category. Secondary, outside linebackers, inside linebackers, defensive line has really put it together. But on the flip side, you're going up against LSU, which will be clearly the best offense that they faced since week 2 going up against Texas. I mean, these wide receivers are elite. The quarterback's probably the best quarterback in all the land. His stats back it up. The guy has great ball placement. He has the weapons to do it. They have a pretty good running back. Offensive line's above average. Brian Kelly, I'll admit, he's doing a better job at LSU than I thought he would. I know it's kind of fun to poke fun at him for whatever reason. But I mean, look, LSU was able to beat Alabama last year. A lot of people think they could do it this year. They have the guys to do it. What's your take on this matchup between Bama's defense and LSU's offense?
I love the challenge. And as an athlete, being a part of that locker room, you have to love this challenge as well. We have great corners great DBs, going up against their offense, going up against a scrambling quarterback, which in our history, we have had some very hard times with scrambling quarterbacks. And, this kid he can be an issue. So you got to be up for the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I think that running wise, I feel like we can shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as our DBs and safeties, I'm very confident in our group, of DBs and safeties. I'm very confident. So I believe if we can kind of slow Jaden Daniels down as far as his scrambling to continue to move the chains,
Mm-hmm.
and I would spy him. I'm not just going to rush forward without a spy, and I'm going to put a spy there so he knows that when you attempt to scramble, we got somebody coming after you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would do with the defense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our safeties and DBs can lock up, and we're going to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this challenge. I really do. They're not exactly as fast a pace as Tennessee, and I feel like that is to our advantage. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, you point out a good fact about Jaden Daniels and his running ability as well. He has 521 yards rushing on the season, which is second on the team behind Diggs, who has 611. And anytime you do face these quarterbacks who are, look, he's the package, right? I mean, he has great ball placement. He can run. I was really impressed with the quarterback last week from Tennessee. That guy's good. And and what I really like about this Alabama defense is look at the teams that they've gone against. They went against Texas, Steve Sarkisian. They went against Lane Kiffin, right? And Jackson Dart and what he was able to do. Some of those play designs that Ole Miss had, you were like, how are these guys? There wasn't a guy 25 yards around some of those wide receivers. It was unbelievable. And that's on Lane Kiffin because he's just a chess master on the offense. Then you went against Texas A&M and their elite wide receivers. Musa Muhammad, Evan Stewart,
Worthy,
all those guys.
Texas.
Those guys were amazing, right? And then Tennessee's offense was much better than I anticipated them to be, 100%. That quarterback's good, and those wide receivers are ballers. So,
good. Yeah, you're right.
And my point is, this defense is not like they haven't faced a challenge before. Those teams are just as good as collectively as this next team is going to be in terms of the wide receivers. Now, I think the difference will be the quarterback is a lot better than those teams, but the wide receivers, the defense has already went up against elite wide receivers this season. And I think in a game like this, you have to stop the quarterback from running. You have to get off the field on third downs, and you have to create big momentum sacks. Dallas Turner, this is his game. He comes through with it, and he can get to him and cause, some sort of disruption in the backfield. I think that the crowd gets momentum, and similar to what you saw in the second half against Tennessee, if Alabama just needs to get the momentum in the first half of this game, this is something that they haven't been able to do all season long, is get the momentum from the get-go.
Right. I agree.
What are your thoughts on? You're in the Houston area. I mean, you're you were close to the Bill O'Brien when he was, in that area. People didn't like him there, and as soon as he came, for whatever reason, that stigma just followed him. People felt in Tuscaloosa that he was going to be like the GM of Alabama football. We're like, he's just the OC, and he has Bryce Young. But people were like, we hate him, and people just didn't like him. I felt at times, even me myself, I felt that sometimes it was a vanilla type offense, whatever the case. So now he's out, and you have Tommy Rees who came in. We all know the backstory with him and Brian Kelly. He's 31 years old or whatever. He has the keys to Jalen Milroe and these elite wide receivers and a ton of running backs. What's been your take on Tommy Rees thus far?
Well, I believe that Tommy Rees is opening up the playbook week by week. I'll say that to get that out there. I believe that the play calling is improving. At first, I wasn't exactly too happy with him. We really felt more run-centric, and I felt that we needed to pass a little more. And this is the point I'll make for that. When we went up against Texas A&M, I was at that game with my son. It was amazing to watch. A lot of people are really hard on Milroe, and I know you asked me about the OC, but once we opened up the playbook and started allowing him to pass a little bit more, he threw some darts in the corner of the end zone that Burton was about to run out of real estate. And guess what happened? The Tennessee game, he opened up the playbook a little bit. We actually had a design quarterback run with this stallion in the backfield. Finally, I'm like, why don't we do that a little bit more? So I wasn't high on him at first, but now I am. I'm getting there. And I think the second half of Tennessee, as we saw, I told my brother, he was like, what do you think is going to happen? I said, the second half won't go down like that. I said, we got to let him pass the ball. And guess what happened? We started passing the ball. Everybody, Milroe can't pass. Milroe can't pass. Long bomb. Intermediate. Hey, Burton, here you go. You know what? You can get some of this pass action too. And we came out and dominated because he opened up the playbook. So I think that's what has to happen, and I think that he's improving with his play calling as well, filling out Jalen Milroe, what he can do, his gifts, his talents, his weaknesses, and it's improving.
Remember that photo that was like going around? Somebody took his photo up in the booth, and he's just like has his hands on his head. He was frustrated. It hasn't been the best. Look, we have seen some creativity from him starting to blossom. I remember there was a jet sweep that Amari Niblack ran against Mississippi State. Everybody's talking about Kendrick Law and kind of the shovel pass that he received because he's a player that probably needs the football more. All of those sophomores need to be fed. We know that. Isaiah Bond, Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice. You're even starting to see Emmanuel Henderson, who looks good when he's working out in warm-ups. Those guys are all sophomores, which is amazing, right? Jermaine Burton has emerged as wide receiver number 1. Haven't really seen Ja'Cory Brooks at all. He's kind of just completely fallen off. And Malik Benson, I don't know if it's so much of a talent issue or a schematic issue or just whatever, but he's really been a non-factor. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, he's just, and that's not knocking him. That's just he's not being utilized. So maybe at some point in time, but I mean, CJ Dupree gets more receptions than he does as a tight end. So, I mean, that's just, and you got to think maybe there'll be a time where Malik Benson will beat someone over the top. But if Alabama is really diving in and they need their weapons, it's Jermaine Burton, number 1, and Isaiah Bond, number 2. 100%. And if you need to pick up a first down, they're probably going to go to like Kobe Prentice or something like that because he's been very dependable. But those are their wide receivers this year.
We've even had a young, I think what's the guy's name, Jalen Hell.
Oh yeah, and, good point out. Jalen Hell. And I think that I'm bringing up the stats right here. I can fly through them real fast. So Jermaine Burton has 508 yards. Isaiah Bond has 360. Amari Niblack has 218. Kobe Prentice has 186. Jace has 10 receptions for 72. Malik Benson has 8 for 91. Roydell Williams has 7 for 24. CJ Dupree has 6 for 119. Kendrick Law has 5 for 54. Ja'Cory Brooks has 3 catches this year. That's crazy, for 30 yards. Jalen Hell has 3 for 68. Everybody, got excited about Jalen Hell because he had a nice showing against Ole Miss. This Michigan sign stealing, is it a big deal? Or is it a witch hunt for Jim Harbaugh? What's your take on kind of the national outlook of this sign stealing?
I'm going to spend very little time answering these questions because this is about Bama. But it is, I think it's a deal. I don't know how large of a deal, how big of a deal, only because you've had different pundits and you've had Hall of Famers say, oh, if you still got to stop it. But my thing is, when I can put you in position to stop it, then I'm at an advantage. That's all I'll say about it. It's tough if we have to resort to those measures. It is really bad if it's substantiated and corroborated and all the facts come back that it's happening and it's legit. And I hate it for Michigan. I hate it for Jim Harbaugh. So that's all I'll say on that. It's really tough.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, it seems like you turn on the TV and that's all you could see, or you turn on YouTube or whatever, and those are all the things that continue to come up. Okay, how about we're on with Daniel outside of the Houston area. Your second half bold prediction when you look to this Alabama Crimson Tide football team.
Second half bold prediction. The last caller said it. I believe we will go undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
We're budding. We are improving at the right time of the season.
Yeah.
I really feel that everything is coming along. In my opinion, there are still some weaknesses we can work on.
Mm-hmm.
But being here, 7-1, I believe our record is. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
At this point, moving forward, I believe we're not looking forward to Atlanta. We're looking game by game.
Yeah.
And play by play, and we're taking each opponent individually. So that's what I see: an undefeated season and a new focus and a consistent focus to Alabama football, improving, winning, and getting better. Because all of our goals are right in front of us. That's
yeah, and you're right. I mean, and all you have to do is keep winning. We can talk about the playoffs. We can talk about the SEC title, whatever it is. Like, they just have to keep winning, and everything will line up the way it's supposed to if you just win. And I know that's annoying to hear because you're just like, no, that's the truth. I mean, if you go on, I love to go on the ESPN All-State Playoff Predictors, and if you do the scenarios, it's very simple for Alabama: win out and you're in, win out and you won the title. Like that. That's how it is in college football. There's a room of people that get inside and get to choose who makes the playoffs. It's going to be hard to leave out the SEC championship, especially if Georgia gets to that point as well and they're unbeaten. That's when things is going to get really interesting, especially if that scenario plays out specifically for Georgia, because would they be left out if they just have one loss? I think you would have to take two teams from the SEC in that matter. So with that said, who are your college football top four as of today?
As of today, I think it's Oklahoma. I think it's Ohio State. I'm not buying Washington. It's Georgia, and I'm not buying Florida State. I think they're a pretender.
Me too.
I really do. So I'll put Texas there only because they beat us.
Yeah.
As of right now, I think that's what the CFB, even I think that's the teams that they'll go with, or they may put a Oregon up there or a Washington. But yeah, Georgia, and I did leave Michigan out. I'm sorry, Michigan, Georgia, Ohio State. I think the CFP will go to Oregon or Washington. There you go.
I think they'll probably go with Washington, at least for the time being. And remember, the college football playoff, we'll never talk about the AP poll again here going forward once Tuesday night comes. So Tuesday night's a big night. You have Coach Saban's birthday, and then you have, the college football playoff rankings. So I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll catch you next time.
I appreciate you. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Daniel calling in from outside the Houston area. We got a 936. We'll take that in just a second. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys calling in this morning. Here are the questions. Bama's defense versus LSU's offense. Happy with Tommy Rees. Michigan sign stealing. Second half bold predictions in your college football top four. I think when you look to the college football top four, let's actually bring that up real quick. So we can kind of just look at this is the AP rankings right here. I'll make it full screen. They'll get to my next caller in just a second. Plenty of room to call in as well. 205-850-1994. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oklahoma. And then you have Texas, Oregon, Bama, and Penn State. So when you look at this graphic right here, you have Georgia, who is a team that is going to play Florida. Now, that is a neutral site game this weekend against, in Jacksonville, rather. They're 7-0. They haven't lost in, 25 games or whatever. They are missing Brock Bowers. That is kind of the key to that game. You have Michigan, who's headlined every single YouTube channel or whatever with the sign stealing. And if you look at Michigan's schedule, they haven't played anybody. But the teams that they have played, they've taken care of business 100%. I mean, they're beating everybody 49-0, 49-7, whatever it may be. Ohio State, this is a good team. I think they have a lot of weapons on the outside. Them and Michigan are on a collision course there at the end of the season, as everybody knows. The problem is that Michigan and Ohio State are both on in the same side of the Big Ten, and so if those two teams go undefeated and they just have one loss, which team would get left out, right? That would be something that I think the playoff committee would again look at. Same thing if Georgia goes undefeated and then lose in the SEC championship, do you leave Oregon or do you leave Georgia out? Florida State, they got some games ahead of them. They have Miami, they have Florida. They've been rolling. A lot of people like their quarterback, and rightfully so. And same thing with Washington. Penix is a great quarterback, but Washington had to come back from behind to beat Arizona State. With that said, Alabama had to come from behind to beat Tennessee. Florida State had to come back from behind to beat Duke. And then Oklahoma and Central Florida, those guys were going toe to toe. Same thing with Texas now that they lost their quarterback for a couple weeks. That's going to be tough to deal with as well. So those are your playoff rankings. With that said, let's go back to the phone lines. We got a 919. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, what's going on, man? It's G.
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. I was looking at these college football rankings just real quick, and a lot of the latter, I think it's going to work itself out. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, all those teams still playing big games. I think the one for Georgia is they go on the road to Tennessee. I think that'll be a tall task for them. But we're playing You Make the Call, and I'm asking everybody to kind of get things started. What is your take about Alabama's defense versus LSU's offense?
Our defense is playing good at this moment up to this part of the game. I haven't really looked at LSU to know if I should feel worried about it or not. It all depends on what we're going to do with Jaden Daniels scrambling, I guess. If we have a good game plan for that, I think we'll be just fine. Mm-hmm. I think it's up to the offense. To keep the momentum, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think with this offense too, I think we talked about this yesterday as well. Is like you can't have these drives that stall early in the game, and it's taken Alabama a little bit of time to get these drives going. And when you have a quick strike team like LSU that puts a ton of points on the board, Alabama cannot play from behind in this game. So it's imperative that Alabama has a play script to get points on the board, whether that's a field goal or whatever, in the opening drive, 100%. Yeah. Like you have to do it. And I think it's just so imperative going forward that Alabama gets a quick start, because these lackluster starts, they're tough. They're going to be tougher on the road, even against a Kentucky or an Auburn. Against Auburn, you get a late start, that game becomes a fourth quarter slugfest, right? Because Auburn's going to think that they can play with Alabama. All this. The best thing you got to do is what Tennessee did, is punch someone right in the mouth automatically. So, I'm with you on that in terms of Alabama being able to have a quick strike from the get-go. LSU, we know their offense is great. A turnover or something like that in the first quarter would be monumental. I've also been asking people about Tommy Rees. What has been your assessment about him so far this year?
I want to go back to kind of something you said first, the defense. Alabama's defense, I don't worry about it anymore. And that's kind of what I've learned from this team. This team has kind of showed me, I'm not saying your opinion, it's kind of showed me to not worry. Because I feel like Saban is so hands-on in halftime. You can see that, the changes we have made in these last 4 games, it looks Hall of Fame NFL-ish. Like, we come out the second half in the last 4 games and just completely just whoop people. So that's what I'm going to take from this team for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
For the rest of the season, I feel this defense has the confidence to know from their losses, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and from their losses of giving up big plays and their confidence of dominance. So I really don't stress the defense. And the Tommy Rees, I think Tommy Rees is a great OC.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people disagree because they, like I said, when I said this, when I called in about 2 days ago, a lot of people complain about what he's calling. But it's no shot to Miro. It's just his weak point. If Miro could hit the 5 and under, we would be calling Tommy Rees Steve Sarkisian.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't consistently hit what the defense gives him. You get what I'm saying? So you can't judge the OC completely yet.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will dislike about Rees is he thinks he has that Notre Dame type of O-line where he could just run interior rims all game.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that right now. Maybe our team can develop into that as the season go along. Bama tends to do that well around week 10, week 11, week 13. We're just so unstoppable. But I like Rees. I just understand that Miro is not able to hit the short stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it hard for you to say, well, what's Rees calling? Mm-hmm. And I'm not putting it on Miro. It's just everybody has a strength and a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And his weakness right now is the 15 and under. If he can hit those, Rees will be looking like one of the best OCs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, this Michigan sign stealing stuff. What's your take on it?
This is what I would say about it. First off, I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'm so into the mystery of this Bama team. I really haven't focused on no one else because I really think all the other teams are just kind of incomplete. You know what I'm saying? Like Georgia, they're number one, but they have a dominant defense and a great head coach.
Yep.
Michigan, they have an unstoppable run game in a weak conference. Ohio State, they're struggling with everybody, but they get the top recruits. So it's like you could look at all the top teams and be like, oh, yeah, but I don't see no one dominant for me to look outside of Bama.
Uh-huh.
But that sign stealing, if it's real, if the sign stealing is real, like they can really prove it, yeah, throw away the whole season, suspend them, because I want some of that recruiting to go away from there. So, yeah, suspend them, whatever you're going to do with stuff like that. But, hey, man, hey, I think everybody do a love song, right? I mean, come on. Like, why not steal the side if it's the same side since week 3?
Okay, so your second half bowl prediction for, the next half of the season, what you got?
What you mean by that, pal?
Kind of just like your bold prediction. Like, will Alabama, win the rest of their games? Where will we see an emergence of Kendrick Law? And by the way, Crimson Blood with the 50 spot, he wants to see more touches for Kendrick Law. Me too. So something like that. Like, will we see, I don't know, Jahad Campbell start over Tresman Marshall, something like that.
Hey, Cal, you like how we talked about that? About a week ago, we need Jahad Campbell to start because he's more athletic, he's more raw talent. And like I said, my bold prediction is, and I'm learning, like Saban kind of does the same thing every season. Like the team he puts out there week 1, it doesn't always be the same team come week 12, right?
Yeah.
So I think Jahad Campbell, I'm going to ask you this. Jahad Campbell should start the rest of the season, right?
Yeah, I would agree with
regardless of anybody's health issues.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving forward, Bama Nation, we want to see Jahad Campbell. So I'm going to say Jahad Campbell is the new Will.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the emergence of Devontae Smith. What's going on with him and his foot? You know anything about that?
Man, I think it's just this injury that unfortunately, because the injury, man, it's been some time. I mean, he's been out for a while. I thought maybe we'd see him at some point, and thank goodness Jalen Key has stepped up and had such a good season. But Devontae Smith coming in was ahead of Jalen Key, honestly. So you would have seen like kind of a similar scenario to where Trey Amos would have been coming in for Terry Arnold, when he needed a blow or whatever, and Devontae Smith had earned that spot. But now Jalen Key, he has that spot, and I don't know. I mean, we haven't even really seen him, working out pregame.
Dang, man, he's one of those Dahad Campbells that just play football better than you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just better than you. Like, so I wish we could get that back. But I'm gonna stick to what you asked me. The bold prediction would be, I think Saban goes to what he's always done. He's going to give Chase McClellan the boatload of carries. I think once Chase gets a boatload of carries, our run game to get a better feel, right? Second is add on to that. I'll say Milroe gets hot after the Chattanooga. From Chattanooga on down, Milroe will clean up the 15 and unders. And I think we went out, man. I think this defense has the attitude to carry us.
Yeah.
And the defense has the attitude to carry us. Braswell and Turner, they make enough big plays to spark you get what I'm saying? Like now you got Campbell out there. So now I think we have enough fireworks to get Milroe going. I think we have enough fireworks to get everybody going now. So I think we roll LSU and we roll to the Natty off the defense and off the electricity of our offense.
Yep.
But the defense gonna carry us this year, pal.
I mean, the defense has been the backbone. I mean, we were talking yesterday. It was like Alabama hasn't played a complete game just yet, or they necessarily don't have really a marquee win, but they're winning games, and a lot of that is because the defense
but
and
that's
specific.
So good,
yeah, that's fine.
That's so good, Kyle.
And the second half adjustments have been fantastic, right? I mean, this second half team is, man, they're really incredible. Thanks again to Crimson Blood for that super chat. Thank you so much. He's calling for more touches for Kendrick Law and then Sherman Klump. The defense can't hold every time.
Oh, the Kendrick Law question. Yeah, Kendrick Law.
Yeah.
I think we should swap out someone for Kool-Aid.
Punt return.
Return. Now Kendrick Law here's the thing with all the receivers, right? And this is no shot at Milroe. We just got to work with where he's weak and where he's strong at. I think you got to keep a good, firm base of who he's been thrown to. So he's been throwing with Malik Benson. He's been throwing to Burton. He's been throwing to Bond and Prentice. And he's been throwing to Black, right? I think before we can worry about pulling out all the glitter and gold we have, we need to get Milroe on track first.
Mm-hmm.
This is funny. Milroe, like they say, Milroe like the number 6 quarterback in the nation. But to be honest with you, Kyle, like let's be real. Milroe and Proctor are the only two things keeping this team from being, without a doubt, unbeatable. And that's a great thing because Proctor has shown a little growth last week, and Milroe is showing growth. So for our two weaknesses to be 5 stars is crazy. And I think us still struggling is good for us. I think us staying outside the top 5 of the college football is good for us. That's the type of team we have. Rank is what it is because we're outside the top 5. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything we have going on, that second half comeback you guys are seeing, it's because we're outside the top 5. So I think they need to keep us outside the top 5 until we beat Georgia. Then I think we'll have the cahoots, the pride to hold on to respect at that point. You know, Bama got kind of spoiled with being number 1 coming out the back 5 seasons in a row. You know what I'm saying? And hey, man, Kyle, we're gonna do it. I'm telling you, we're gonna win it this year, dog.
Who's your before I move to my next caller? Who's your top 4 right now as of today?
Top 4 college football teams?
Yep.
I hate this question because, like I said, like the top 3 guys outside of Georgia, well, the top 4. outside of Georgia don't play no one yet.
Yeah, I know
What we gonna say? Ohio State stuffed a non-explosive Penn State offense. I mean, who else is Michigan? They get to run the ball 60 times on Northwestern. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't pay attention to none of it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's all bogus. It's bogus because in all actuality, though, we're not a number 9 team.
Yeah.
Like, come the hell on.
Yeah.
How are you number 9 with number 1 defense? That's just a top 4, top 5 in itself. So it's all opinionated on how you feel. We know Bama got the Bama hate and everybody want to show everybody else so tremendous love, but they don't play no one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What would Ohio State record be if they had to play Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee? What they record be?
For real.
You know what I'm saying? They could have lost all 3 of those games. So it's like, we're way better than what everybody else is trying to say. So I hate to say it, 'cause I can't answer that question, 'cause I don't respect who anybody else is playing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Man, well, I appreciate you rapping with me this morning. Thank you very much for calling in. Call again next time, and thank you very much for the support.
All right, Kyle. Peace out, man.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right, we got a 703 and a 337 inside the call queue. Sherman, thanks for the super chat. He says, this team can't hold every team to 30 or less. Can this offense win a shootout if it comes to it? I asked that question last week, or have to come from behind to win with better teams. And that's the thing. And I think this is so important, is that you cannot get down against a team like LSU. You just can't. Like this down 20-7, down against Ole Miss. And Alabama has trailed in so many games where they trailed against Texas. They trailed against Ohio State or Ole Miss. They trailed against Tennessee. They were tied with South Florida at halftime. So, they're a second half team. But, like, I don't know if you want to get behind LSU. You can't. 100% you can't. And then Crimson, thank you so much for super chat. He's saying want to see more touches from Kendrick Law. 100%. I mean, the guy runs mean. He runs fast. I think he's like a Deebo Samuel, and I think he should be returning punts, right, for this team. Hattie Mae, what's up? I see you inside the comment box. Bullfrog is joining us today as an LSU fan. He's saying not winning a natty, not rolling LSU. Hey, Bullfrog, I appreciate you being here. Did you think that LSU would lose to Florida State? And did you think that LSU would lose to Ole Miss? Sound off in the comment box. And just curious to get your take on that, because I personally didn't think that LSU would lose to Ole Miss. I knew that Ole Miss was coming in with a lot of firepower, but to see that game go the way it did, really knocked out LSU. And I saw the graphic. LSU has been eliminated from the playoffs right after that. And I know it's been tough, to see, LSU not reach their ultimate goal, but just curious to see what your take on that was. Aaron Bell says, hey, Kyle, I disagree. I think we need Ole Miss to beat Georgia. Then we need to beat Georgia in the SEC title game. That will give them 2 losses, and we will have a game over them. That could potentially be true, especially with what is happening in the Big Ten. And that means if Michigan and Ohio State, if one of those teams just has 1 loss, which could very well happen because, if you look at the playoff indicators, it looks like Michigan and Ohio State have a great chance to make it. Plus, it seems like, Florida State, they're rolling. That could be the 3rd team to get in, I guess. Depending on if things go. But just like Dee was saying in our last, I think they're a pretender. I don't believe in them, and I think they will drop a game. But who knows? They've been playing some pretty good football. With that said, we go back to the phone lines, and we'll take a 703. We'll start right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Crimson Blood 22 from Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate the super chat, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, no worries. I'm actually homesick, so I figured the best medicine was the Alabama football report with Kyle Henderson.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us. You have like an opening monologue you want to get to, or do you want to dive right into these questions?
I think I'm just going to dive right into the questions. That way it keeps me on track.
Yeah.
So going with you make the call, the Bama D versus the LSU offense. Personally, I think it's kind of a even Steven wash right now. It really just kind of depends on the LSU quarterback. But right now, I think he's playing some smart ball. And, I mean, as much as I'm not an LSU fan and a diehard Alabama fan, I do like what LSU is doing with Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, sometimes I actually wish we could do the same with Jalen Milroe in terms of getting him on a schedule and keeping him settled. I just think Jaden Daniels is playing within himself. He's playing smart, throwing the ball away. And I like the way that they use him in the play action and rolling out. And he's just being a cerebral player right now. So right now I'm just going to say it's sort of an even Steven on the Bama D versus the LSU.
That's fair. I like that take. Go ahead.
I was going to say with number 2, am I happy with Tommy? Well, I'm much happier with Tommy than I was with Bill O'Brien. So I feel like Tommy still has some room to grow. And I think he's doing all that he can right now. I would like to see some more screens, but I don't know if it's so much Tommy as it is with the wide receivers. I really need to see more blocking from like Malik Benson and some of these other wide receivers. I kind of feel like they're just like pulling up and just sort of like standing there watching the action happen. Like when you go back to the days of the ride out, you know, wide receivers, they all would block for each other. They would like, you know, take pride in not only catching the ball and, you know, ripping off 20 yards, but then blocking for the other people. I would like to see more of that with this team. In reference to number 3, Michigan sign stealing, you know, I don't doubt it. I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I don't need much evidence. I'm just not a big Michigan fan to begin with. So I'm going to say that they're doing it, you know, without much evidence. Number 4, second half bold prediction. You know, this team of ours, they're bipolar. And I really just hope that our, you know, cerebral, more level set mindset sort of shows up. And rather than just play with so much emotion, that we play within our mental fortitude and our toughness, and that we can just sort of play all 4 quarters together. You know, if we're able to do that, then we will be able to run the table. And that's what I would like to see. I would like to see us be more steady Eddie, stay within the program. The program is our friend. The process is our friend. You know, stick with the process. Number 5, college football top 4. I guess Georgia 1. I would probably slide Ohio State to 2. 3 would probably be Oklahoma, and 4, I guess Michigan, but I think they're going to end up taking themselves out of the game.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for running through those. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the super chat. Anything else before I guess before we go, let's talk about Kendrick Law real quick before you bounce out, because I know that's what your super chat was about. He just has like that it factor, it seems like, right? And getting him the football seems like something Alabama has to do in this second half of the season. And I think everyone got excited with the shovel pass that he took. Everyone's getting excited when they see him running with the football as a kick returner. And a lot of people want to see him as a punt returner. Whoever it is, I think that Kool-Aid maybe needs to be swapped out. Kool-Aid's doing a great job on defense, but the punt return is one area. With Alabama playing such an elite special teams, the punt return unit hasn't been that. So probably swap him out. I would assume Kendrick Law, and I think to my recollection in pregame, Kendrick Law has been returning punts, so maybe we'll see that. What do you like about Kendrick Law's game?
You know, when I saw him come over and do sort of that like sweeping motion, the jet sweep motion. They gave him that shovel pass. I was just saying to myself, please give him the ball. Please give him the ball. And once they gave it to him, I was like, yes, finally. Like, I've been waiting for this, all season. I would love to see Kendrick more on like jet sweeping motions, kind of like what he did last year in the Ole Miss game.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see him sort of be that safety valve for Jalen Milroe. And quite honestly, like with his physicality, I really feel like he could be better on the blocks, opening up for some of the other wide receivers as well. I just think he's a mismatch. So, and I'm not opposed to swapping out Kool-Aid, not because he's not a great player. It's just mainly like a confidence thing. And so, I would just like to see someone else take another crack at it as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much all my takes, and I'm just going to sit back and listen to the show, and I appreciate you taking my call, Kyle.
All right, man. Stay hydrated, get some rest, man, and bounce back, and appreciate your support, man. And thanks for the super chat. Talk to you next time.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Bye.
All right, we got a 337 and a 256 coming up next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys just hitting the simple thumbs up or becoming a subscriber. Our next goal is 95,000 subscribers. I think we're, maybe 800 away, and then onward to 100,000 subscribers. Huge goal of ours right here on the YouTube channel. The calls today, I will be on until probably about 10:40 Central Time, and I'll be on all this week at 9 a.m. Coach Saban has his SEC teleconference at 11 a.m. So I'm going to jump off and prepare for that before, after the show. And then I have player interviews at the university at 1 p.m. They haven't said who the players are going to be just yet, but I will upload those with crisp quality sound right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for joining me, and thanks to the super chats this morning. With that said, let's dive right back into the phone lines and with the 337. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is David, and LSU sucks.
I knew it was you, David. Thanks for calling in, buddy. Welcome to the show. We got some, it's finally here, and I know you're living in enemy territory, being in Louisiana, or Louisiana, as you like to say it. But Bama's defense certainly going to have a tall task against LSU's offense. Let's just start it off with your early assessment of Bama's defense versus LSU's offense. Take it away.
Well, like I said the other day, Bama's ranked 15th in total defense in the nation. After LSU played Army this past weekend, they jumped from 110th in total defense up to like 90th or something like that. As far as offenses go, we all know who has the number one offense as of now in the country. And that's LSU. It's going to be an interesting game. I mean, like I said the other day, if Bama can contain Jaden Daniels on his feet, it's going to be, not a one-sided game, but it'd be a lot better game, and we can probably stay with them. I looked at LSU's game against Army, their statistics, the breakdown, and Army had 100 and now I don't know if it was against their second or third string defense, because I don't watch LSU except for when they play Bama. Army had 150 something yards rushing against LSU, but I don't know if that was against their first string or what. I don't know when them yards came. But if Army can put up 150 something yards rushing against LSU, with the horses we have, we should be able to put up 150 something yards per running back in our stable against that. Now the passing game, Daniels is good. I don't necessarily believe that LSU has a scheme set up for Daniels on his runs. I believe that when Daniels sees something break down, he takes off running. and tries to make a play for himself. He don't try to stay in the pocket too long. I've seen little highlights and stuff like that, and I've seen how he is. I mean, he was like that last year against us when we played him in Baton Rouge. He something breaks down, he's trying to take off running and do something, you know. And we need Milroe to do the same thing instead of trying to stay in the pocket and hope Burton gets open or whoever. He's got to do something with his feet in this game too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we really haven't seen Jalen Milroe necessarily take over a game with his legs, but I think, you know, that there could be a point in time until he just breaks off like a 80-yard, 90-yard touchdown run. It's there. There was kind of that rumor circling around that he like had a hamstring or something like that. But I mean, I think he's fine from what I understand. So I think in time we'll see Jalen do his thing with his legs, or when he needs to. Your thoughts on Tommy Rees, upgrade from Bill O'Brien from last season? What's been your assessment through 8 games, David?
I mean, a high school offensive coordinator is better than what Bill O'Brien was, in my opinion. And as we can all see, we've actually done fairly decent this year. I mean, not as good as we all want, but you can tell the difference. You know, between the running back game, the receivers that are being utilized. I believe Rees is actually doing a good job. I think after this year, I mean, it's the first year at Bama, and it's a lot of pressure because we all know, because we can see it in the comment section, and I've been one too over the past. Is, you know, we criticize everything that goes on against a coach, defensive coordinator, offense, or whatever, because for so many years we have played at the highest level of anybody else in college football, and we expect that year in and year out. But it's not always like that. It's like Coach Saban said the other night on his show, the Thursday night show he does. Hey, Coach, this is a young team. It is a young team. If you look at what we have on the offensive line, that's young. Proctor's what, a sophomore? You know, you got Dalcourt. You got all these young guys, and they're still learning. And we've seen what they've done against Tennessee. They've actually improved. And you can't expect them to come in just because they're a 5-star or 4-star and just be the top players in the country in the highest division of college football. I mean, these guys, if they were playing Division II or whatever, would be first-round draft picks in our eyes. But this is a whole different in this. And you know, when you get up here in the FBS and or BCS now, whatever you want to call it.
What do you think about this Michigan sign stealing? Bigger deal than we're making out? Is it a witch hunt for Mr. Harbaugh? What's your take?
I mean, it's like I was saying in the comments a while ago, you know, there's somebody always in the dugout in baseball that's always looking at signals. I mean, it happens everywhere. Now, as far as a coach sending, I'm not saying Harbaugh did send this coach. I mean, you can look at Harbaugh and tell he does look kind of iffy. You know, could possibly want to send somebody to go steal signals from other teams. But, I mean, supposedly this guy went in 30-something games and stole so many, you know, these signals and all this mess. Now, how true that is, I don't know. I mean, but, I mean, you know, there's always a spy in everything that goes on. That's just like in a normal job. You always got one of these people and that you don't think's watching you, but they're over there looking, and they go back and tell the boss because they got a cousin or brother-in-law or sister-in-law that needs a job. You know, it's just, you never know. I mean, if they get caught and they find enough proof that it was legitimate, then they deserve to be lose all their games or had to forfeit all their games or whatever. I don't know. It is what it is.
Second half, bold predictions when you look to this Alabama football team. What you got?
Second half bold prediction. If we play and we continue to play like we did against Tennessee, and we have in other games, like, big games like A&M in one of the rowdiest stadiums, and we pulled out a win. If we can continue to play the third and fourth quarters and the first, second, third, and fourth quarters like we did against Tennessee for the rest of the year, I believe we could win out. Honestly, I believe we could actually win out and win a playoff and then play in the national championship game. And then all the naysayers would shut their mouths for another 360-something days, and then to be right back again. Well, the dynasty's over. Well, the dynasty wasn't over. We were just rebuilding the little part of the castle that got knocked back down, and we put the throne in a different room, So I believe we can pull it out. I believe if we continue to play and be without penalties and stupid things, we'll be fine.
Hey, good morning, Ed. We see you inside the comment box. Good morning to you. Okay, last thing we got for you, David, before we get to our next caller. Your college football top 4 right now.
Well, I looked at, I don't know if it's an actual, the new college football playoff poll or whatever it is. They actually dropped Georgia to number 3 in this poll I saw last night. Moved Michigan to number 1, Ohio State to number 2. And I want to say it was maybe Washington number 4. That's right now the top 4 that I see, that I believe it should be, because I honestly believe that Georgia could. Now, hear me out. It's a hypothetical or whatever, but I believe that what I've seen of Georgia playing this year, they've kind of played like Alabama has. Start off real slow in the first half, whatever. Then they kind of come back in the second half in some games. Florida could possibly beat them. They still got to play Tennessee. Tennessee could possibly beat them. And Missouri could possibly throttle them, because Missouri has a good team. People don't realize Missouri does have a really good team this year.
Yeah.
And, if you come off of 2 losses or whatever, your team gets kind of down, and now they got Brock Bowers. I guess he's out still for 4 to 6 weeks or whatever. One of their top tight ends, one of the top players in the country that they utilize a lot. That opens up more for the opposing team. So, and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech beat Miami. Georgia Tech, beat some good teams this year. They could possibly sneak in a win against Georgia. I said possibly. I'm not saying it could happen, but I believe Florida could possibly beat them. Missouri and Tennessee. Georgia could end up with possibly 2 to 3 losses by the end of this year is over with if they continue to play like they have.
It's not out of the question, honestly. Those are their toughest games that they've played all season so far. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of.
And Alabama and Bama could be the same way if they don't put their feet in the ground and play like they're supposed to and do like they're supposed to, because this team coming in to Bryant-Denny this next weekend is a high-powered offense. They have a good running back, that Logan, whatever his name is. I looked him up earlier, was looking around.
Yep. He
has almost 700 yards on the ground, Jaden Daniels has almost 3,000 yards, It's crazy, but Bama can pull it out. Anything can happen. This is the most stressful time of the year. Really, it is. Closer you get to the, now I'm not just saying because we're playing LSU, but I'm just saying the closer it gets to conference games, if you're right there to be in a conference championship anything can happen. Anything can happen. Even though Auburn ain't won but like 2 or 3 games or whatever this year, they always play us harder than anybody else does. So it is what it is. But I believe, like I said earlier, I believe if Alabama keeps playing like they have against Tennessee, they can play 4 quarters, 60 minutes, and play it to the top of their ability and pull out the wins. I believe we can make a college football playoff and SEC championship. But if not, then we just go play wherever we play at and just work on next year. But I still have faith in Bama. Even sometimes it's stressful to, do that because you see how they play at times. You never know what team you're getting. But anyway, brother, I'm going to get off here. And God bless everyone. God bless the United States of America. And with that being said, roll tide.
Roll tide to you, David. Thanks for calling in. All right, that was our good buddy, David. We've got a 256 and a 334 inside the call queue. I'll try to get to you guys both before I do bounce out here at 10:40 because I do have to get ready for Coach Saban's SEC teleconference, which will be at 11. So with that said, let's do a 256 and let's do it right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
What's up with you, man? This is Dave.
Hey, man, you're like a little too faint. I can't really hear you.
Say this is Jay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, let's try it, man. Let's just go forward with it, man. Yeah, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah. Well, shit, I'm gonna be quick since you can't hear me. Roll Tide. Man, I want to see Justin Jefferson as the spot, man. That seems like he's our fastest linebacker, and this guy pretty quick. And Kendrick Law needs the ball, man. Can y'all right about everything y'all saying is him being the punt returner and everything. We need to see him on a bunch of the jet sweeps and the punt return. And man, roll tide, man. Roll tide.
Roll tide to you, Jay. It's like we can't hear you that well, but you can call again next time. Maybe we'll have a better connection, man. It sounds like you're running laps or something like that. All right, Jay. Jay is in and out, but he got his punches in quick because he's talking about Kendrick Law. Everybody's talking about Kendrick Law, that he needs the ball more. Hopefully we see it implemented into the next half of the season. With that said, we'll take our last call of this morning part, which will be at 334. Hey, good morning. You're on line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Dude, should Messiah stand up and throw his shoe or a piece of gum? Or Carper Lou give and steal that person.
All right. Let's see.
They'll make things work.
All right. I think Coach is on another line. All right. Let's try this one more time. 1, 2, 3. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This Coach.
Hey, Coach, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Appreciate you calling back, man.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us at the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
What you think about this Bama defense versus LSU offense?
Hey, before we touch on that, I got to defend you, my man. I heard some little thing. A guy called from New York yesterday. And he was just bashing Jalen Milroe. He was talking so bad about he was fucking. And I like how you played it by showing statistics. Because statistics does matter. The guy was like, oh, you can't look at stats. You can look at stats.
Mm-hmm.
Stats does count. And I think Milroe's doing a good job for what he's giving. He's a quarterback that he tried to compare Milroe to guys that been starting 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Milroe only started 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
You only started 7 games, it's going to take time. And he was like, oh, he ain't like Caleb Williams or Jaden Davis. Caleb Williams, Jaden Davis have played 3 years. They'll play almost 30 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how you gave him an opportunity to speak and say, hey, you do get your chance to talk and say what you need to say, but don't insult the guy just by because you compare him to somebody else. I always tell I'm coaching, I don't compare my kids to no other kids. Mm-hmm. My kids are who I got. Mm-hmm. Yes, there might be better kids out there, but I'm gonna make these what I have. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate how you did that with Miro, because a lot of people been bashing that kid. Mm-hmm. As a father myself, I hate to hear a guy like that call and talk about my son like that. I know my son doing the best he can do. Mm-hmm. And the next thing, another guy in sort of high school coaching, he said something about one of your calls, like 2 calls before, that a high school OC can call Tommy Rees or Bill O'Brien, whatever it was. Football is football, whether you high school, little league, whatever. Calling plays the same way. You just got better athletes in college. So by him saying something about anybody can call plays better than Bill O'Brien, it was pretty terrible. That ain't like that. That's kind of disrespectful to the game. And yeah, but for the LSU game, let's get back to the LSU game. Man, it's gonna be a good football game. And like I've been telling you for the last 4 or 5 weeks, Alabama's like a box of chocolates. And they're proving it to the Tennessee game. You never know what you're gonna get. And they'll come out with like the worst team. They play against South Florida. In the second half, they like the 2022 Georgia Bulldogs when they won the championship. So you never know what Bama's team's gonna get. I feel like the way Miro is playing, that's an X factor. If he can take care of the football, if Miro can take care of the football and do what he needs to do, Bama gonna win the game. It's not gonna be a close football game in Tuscaloosa. They're gonna put pressure on Jaden Daniels. And the D-line, Bama D-line's getting confidence. Everybody talking about the offense, but no, the D-line is. Bama receivers have got confidence. And the top receivers will come to Alabama because Ryan Williams and the other kid in Florida, they still come to Alabama. Got a guy from New York say, oh, receivers ain't going to come to Alabama. Those kids will still come to Alabama. They're still going to come. You get Miro by this time next year. I want to hear that guy from New York call again next year around this time.
What about
I want to hear you talk. Coming on what I said.
what about this Michigan sign stealing, Coach?
Man, we all do that. We all do that. So I got to say, this is getting caught. They got caught. So, I mean, I can't come in on something I did before. so they get that caught. They got caught. So everybody got caught.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. At the end of the day, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Second,
so they trying to win football games.
Second half bold prediction for Alabama, Coach. What you got?
For the season prediction?
Yeah. Second half, like second half bold predictions going forward.
It's going to be up and down battlefield. Bama going to beat LSU. Let me tell you right now. This next game up, they're going to beat LSU. I say 38-21. They're going to beat LSU. Miro going to feel like he going to feel at times like he hold the ball too long. I tell people, he is looking down the field trying to throw the football. He's not holding the ball too long. For the first time he look at the first read and run, people going to say he take off too fast. Like they call up from New York with saying, like, oh, Miro hold the ball too long. Yeah, sometimes he take off too fast. It's like, what do you want him to do? To get killed? You don't see the old line sometimes, like in the Tennessee game, he dropped back in like a second and a half. The defensive edge come off the edge and crushed him. So as a quarterback, you don't know when your line's going to fail on you. So that's why he holds the ball sometimes too long, and sometimes he runs too slow because he can't trust the offensive line. And so I think they're gonna beat LSU. Then they got Kentucky next. Who they got for LSU?
You got LSU, then you got Kentucky, then Chattanooga, then Auburn.
Oh yeah, they got Kentucky. Kentucky what name? Kentucky just supposed to be great. Kentucky's not a good football team, and I don't think Kentucky they can't hold Alabama job strap. They can't hold Alabama job strap. Kentucky won't be Alabama. They're going to go to Lexington, don't they? The game is in Lexington. And the game on the road. Yeah,
the game's in Lexington. Yep.
Oh yeah, that shit don't mean nothing. They won't be able to run it. They're going to try to run the football. I'm going to shut that down. O'Leary can't throw the football. O'Leary can't throw the ball none. To me, O'Leary is a handicap for that team. O'Leary is. He's a handicap. Oh yeah. So then Chattanooga, it's going to be against Kyle Simpson's going to play. Kyle Simpson's going to play. Bama going to win 56, probably 8 or something, or maybe 56-0. Then Auburn going to be the hardest game left for the season for me. Auburn. I'm playing at Jordan Hare. In the first half, Auburn going to come out lights on fire. So Bama's still going to probably be up maybe 13-6 or 13-3 at half.
Yeah.
In the second half, it's going to be like one of them slow ground type games. Bama going to end up winning that game. I'll give them 27-6, 27-9. They ain't going to let Auburn score a touchdown because Auburn, right now, they're down slow. Auburn ain't going to win 2 more games rest of the season. Auburn ain't. So Bama going to beat Auburn 27-6. Then they're going to go to the SEC championship game against Georgia. They're going to try to bring Brock Bowers back. But as a lineman, tight end, with that kind of ankle injury, if I was him, I'd go ahead and be ready for the NFL. Because I think it's going to hurt him worse by trying to play on that. He's a sure top 5 pick. If you go out there and rip that other ankle, because remember, when you hurt one of your ankles, you try to put the pressure on the other ankle. So I feel like he'll destroy it. If Kirby Smart care about the kid's future, he won't allow that kid to play. He's going to let him shot receiving. Bama going to beat Georgia. It's going to be a slow ground game, kind of like the Tennessee game. Georgia don't come out on fire. You know, Georgia hate Alabama. They can't stand Bama and stuff. Bama going to beat Georgia. I get a score 34-24. Bama going to be the SEC champion. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to go into the playoffs with the number 2 ranking. Michigan going to be number 1. I don't think that's going to happen with their the little sign stealing thing, because it's all he say, she say. You're not going to be able to prove, because they probably going to pay that kid off. They were doing the sign things. He was like he had nothing to do with Jim Harbaugh, and nothing's going to happen with that. Nothing. And it's going to be Bama, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State. Bama going to play Florida State in the first round.
Oh, I would love that. That would be my Christmas wish.
Oh, yeah. In Florida State is not going to see the kind of talent. They ain't seen it all season. They ain't going to see it. Yeah, same thing. Look, they ain't going to see that kind of talent until they play Bama.
No.
Bama going to overwhelm them. But by that time, Miro going to be playing like a Heisman quarterback by that time.
Yep.
Miro going to be great. Yeah, same call from New York. He's still going to call you and say Miro can't smile right. But he ain't going to be able to play by his throwing or running no more. He's just going to say he can't smile right. They're going to beat him. He's going to beat Alabama. It's going to be Alabama and Washington in that championship game.
Bama and Washington. Man, down in Houston. I think that's where the game's at. Yeah. All right, Coach, I got to break out, man. But thanks
Washington going to get Alabama pure hell.
I gotta bounce up, Coach.
41-38, Alabama, next chance.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in, Coach. Calling again next time, man. Appreciate rapping with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
All right, man.
Oh, yeah.
I was Coach from Calera calling up. I always enjoy talking with him. He's always got a lot going on, but he's got some great things to say. I love his coach perspective. Hey, thanks for joining me this morning on October 25th. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. These were the questions we went through today. Bama D versus LSU O. Happy with Tommy Rees, Michigan sign stealing. Second half bowl predictions in your college football top 4. I appreciate you guys being here. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Thank you very much to our super chatters today. I'm going to get off this and then get on the SEC teleconference, where I will put together Coach Saban's press conference to bring it right here to the YouTube channel. I have to record it and kind of edit it and make sure that it sounds nice and clean for you guys. And then thinking about having a show tonight, double dipping, maybe around 6, or I might be around 8. Just hit that subscribe button so you guys know when I do go live. And then tomorrow I will be back on at 9 a.m. Tomorrow as well as Friday. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, my name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Thank you very much for being with me this morning, and I will catch you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube.